Who's scruffy looking? Ah, yeah, me. Guess quarantine will do that to ya.
Hey everyone, Nick Brick here with a Star Wars build. A heavy blaster pistol fit for an overconfident smuggler. Here is the LEGO Han Solo's DL44 blaster from Star Wars. The DL44 is a heavy blaster pistol famously wielded by the smuggler Han Solo in the Star Wars films. One of the most iconic and recognizable blasters, it has also appeared in several of the Star Wars games over the years. The LEGO DL44 is nearly 13 inches long, weighs 1 pound, took 2 days to design and build, and contains 820 pieces. Like Jyn Erso's A180 pistol, Han Solo's DL44 was built for the RebelLUG Summer 2020 collaborative build. So Uncivilized, the RebelLUG Blaster Collab, saw several members of the LUG build famous and obscure blasters from the Star Wars galaxy. The video, which I hosted and edited by the way, is on the RebelLUG channel and is absolutely worth checking out to see all the amazing blaster builds. Jyn's pistol from Rogue One was originally going to be my only build for this collab, but I decided the weekend before the video was released to build this one here, Han Solo's DL44. So many of the original blasters in Star Wars were built by repurposing relics of old global conflicts. For the DL44, several German firearm components were used. The base is a Mauser C96, aka the broom handle, while the muzzle was that of an MG81 aircraft gun, and the scope was one typically used on old German marksman rifles. Kitbashed with other greebly and high-tech looking components, the blaster design we all love and recognize was created. Honestly, with highly recognizable prop designs like this one, I focus more on capturing detail than functions. That said, this replica has one function, and that is a moving trigger. You could also move the hammer, but that wasn't really intentional, nor does it move accurately to a C96, unfortunately. Moving on from intentional and unintentional functions, there are some pretty neat details on this blaster. I'm going to highlight a few of them. The enormous conical muzzle piece was tricky to shape. I wanted to capture the tiny holes that appear on this component, so reverse plates were used so that the underside tubes could appear as these holes. Now this area right here is packed with details originating from the Mauser. We've got the original rear sight, with range indicators built using staggered LEGO ingot pieces, and the aperture made from the gap in a 1x2 hinge topper. The original base gun's bolt handle is rounded off with new 1x1 parts of the curved top, which may have been the perfect fit for this detail. And right underneath, the slot that separates the two halves of the Mauser body. Of course, this LEGO model doesn't separate the same way, but these Technic pieces were used for their texture that looks really similar to this detail. Most of my DL44 model is built 3 studs wide, so the details that aren't 3 wide on the body really pop. One of course is that slot. Another is the lower 2/3 of the front vent detail, expanding to 4 studs in diameter. On the right side of the blaster is the mount for the sight. It had to be built especially strong to ensure the sight doesn't move or fall off. I'd say it's pretty solid. The sight itself, an old German scope, is mostly just 2x2 cylinders, but towards the eyepiece it gets a little bit more interesting. The lens could have been just a 3x3 transclear dish instead of this old 4x4 Technic cylinder, but adding another gray 3x3 dish behind it makes the lens pop more. Lastly, actually the first part designed, the grip. The Mauser's grip has such a unique angle, shape, and color to it, and it definitely wasn't easy to recreate it with LEGO, but I think I managed fairly well. You can see here the taper to the grip, as well as subtle groove texturing achieved by using 1x2 curves instead of 2x2. The gaps between 1x2s add even more simulated grooves. And here is a banana for scale. I've never seen a Mauser C96 in person before, So in my research and in building the DL44, it was really surprising how small it really is. Overall, it was certainly challenging to design and build the DL44 blaster pistol. Star Wars fans recognize the blaster instantly, as do history and military buffs when it comes to the gun used as its base. Typically when I design a build, it's almost always off of reference pictures, and sometimes the techniques of my fellow builders, but I have to give credit where it's due. Thank you to my friend Marcus for inspiration with his fantastic rendition of Han Solo's blaster. I was especially inspired by his dark brown grip with a subtle taper. Han Solo's DL44 is such a common subject for LEGO builders even outside the LEGO gun builder community, and I hope my rendition is a welcome addition to this legacy. Now, let's try firing the blaster that shot first. Like Jyn Erso's blaster before it, there are instructions available for the DL44 in the RebelLUG instructions store. Link in the description, and includes a parts list on the site so you can view it before you buy. Also, again like Jyn Erso's blaster, this was built for So Uncivilized, the summer 2020 RebelLUG Blaster Collab. I highly recommend checking out that video. 15 builders with 16 LEGO Star Wars blasters. Original trilogy, prequel trilogy, the Disney era, Clone Wars, Republic Commando, my favorite Star Wars game. There's lots of fantastic builds, and I'm proud of each and every participant. Subscribe for more LEGO replica builds. Also, like, comment, and share if you enjoyed LEGO Han Solo's DL44 blaster pistol. Harrison Ford really got all the cool gun props back in the day, didn't he?